and I don't fuck with nobody. I don't go anywhere. I don't go to parties. I barely go outside. Like literally, I really don't go outside that much just because I don't fuck with nobody. I refuse to allow any sort of cancer in my life to spread. So I just stay as positive as I can.
One of the rules I had in my marriage, and it was a rule that my wife also was pleased to follow, was that if we have a problem, we're going to deal with it right now. And we're going to deal with it right to the bottom. And that's very unpleasant. But if you do it, sometimes you only have to do it once and the problem goes away. And then you don't have that bloody problem every day for the rest of your life. And sometimes it takes, 20 times before it's fixed, before you've got to the bottom of things. So why does she want to sit down and tell you about her problems? And the answer is because she wants to find out what her bloody problems are. And so you see this very often in therapy, and Carl Rogers made a lot of this. He said, if you just listen to people, they'll often solve most of their problems themselves. I don't care what it is. I'll tell you the truth, but you have to tell me the truth. I don't care what the truth is, but it has to be true, right? And so without that, you get nowhere. And you can't trust your partner either. And so your partner has to be all in. That's why you have a marriage vow. Because the marriage vow is basically this. This is the vow. No matter what you tell me, I won't run away. And that's a bitch of a vow, man.
Do you think you as a mother can ever raise your son into a man?
I believe I can. I have no problem if my kids are a mama's boy. That just means they love their mother.
I truly believe that a woman cannot raise a boy into a man at all. Men instill integrity, decisiveness, a purpose, and a sense of duty. When a son is growing up and he has an example of a man that he can follow and he sees the masculinity of that man, that's like his superhero. That is the goal for a son to be. I want to be just like my dad. The biggest thing is you're higher in estrogen and you're more neurotic. Means that you feel more negative emotions.
But that has nothing to do with me trying to show my son how to be a man.
That has a big thing to do with it. A woman instills her own behaviors into the kid indirectly. And she does this because kids are very observant, meaning that how you act, how you react to things, all of these characteristic traits that you embody, he's going to mimic to a degree. And we have statistics on it too. Single mother households leads to degeneracy in kids. It leads to emotional instability in children, and then that bleeds over to their teens and then when they're an adult. There's a thing when it comes to a man in a home, he is the disciplinarian, and kids naturally just listen to the father. Like if you ever been at home and you had your mom and your dad, your mom can say something to you. Daddy don't gotta say much. He look at you.
I was today years old when I figured this math out. 2 of the presidents that have run on the basis of being quote unquote black are not only both half, but the black that they claim is not American black. For one, it is Jamaican. For the other, it is Kenyan. And yet it's curious to me that for some reason, there's this conversation in the left where if you are not a quote unquote FBA, a foundational black American, you don't have the right to talk about black issues in America, which is curious to me. Being born overseas, moving to the United States, being a citizen of the United States, I'm told very frequently I can't speak on black issues because I'm not an FBA. Yet these 2 individuals get to not only claim to be black Americans, but they become the poster children of black America. How does that work? I'm still trying to figure out that part of the equation, right? The math is still not, the calculus is still not calculating on that part of the equation.
And touch the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people maybe. People talking without speaking. People hearing without listening. People writing songs. Their voices never shared. And no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools said, you do not know. Silence like a cancer.
Men and women are not the same, and that is a blessing. He provides and protects. I multiply. He is the head of the family. I am the heart. He provides the shelter. I give it a heartbeat. He provides the ingredients. I make the meal. He provides the house. I make it into a home. He takes care of my outer world. I take care of his inner world. He gave me love. I gave him life. Our roles complement, rather than compete. Where God created two from one, two became one, in marriage.
Eyes closed when I'm banging in Nina. The bird sings well, so I call her Simone. I got 3 thick women in the bag in the trainer, cause a man really doesn't want to do it alone. Hey, red dots on the top of the Magnum. The magazine's hanging at the back of my jeans. All them up. PK got me dripping in platinum. If his hands on the face, and it's time to squeeze. I slap the stick they run, cause the teeth on the puppy seem big when I poke it. Roll up a big spliff till I smoke it. Brand new whip looks slick when I plug it. When I step in the room, they wanna dance, cause a lad motherfucker gets rolled in the carpet. I look good, feel good, get paid, cause the fellas got the best damn gear in the movie. We got the best damn gear in the game. These other motherfuckers ain't nearly the same. No surprise, we be shipping the kilos. A quick reload and we're dealing again. Got richer for preaching them powders. Chop, chop, cutting the block, it takes hours. These days on the lift the finger, kick back with my feet up, a puff for showers. Cut caps in a puff, my Cuban. Get smoked like a Vannas in the back of the bar. This machine on my hips got me acting the nose. That's why I celebrate the chuck it in the back of the car. Whoa, sidestep while I break it down. Sip second like I'm from Japan. Look, women, you should grab your man, cause if he gets too close, then I'm banging him man.
Stop talking about the past. The American people have already told you to kick rocks. They don't care what you have to say anymore as Democrats. You have been squashed, obliterated. Nobody in the White House. You don't have the House. You don't have the Senate. And then you're going to walk around talking about how, oh, well, he didn't get 50% of the vote. Well, you didn't either. You lost.
Fitness is the gateway drug. I've said this before in previous episodes. I've got a whole episode about fitness being the gateway drug, but fitness is the gateway drug to success. Fitness is the gateway drug to confidence, to mental toughness, to emotional discipline, to being even happier in life, to better relationships, because someone who's fit, who is not critical of their body, someone who is confident about how they look and how they carry themselves, they're just going to be a happier, more successful person, because you don't feel like an imposter. You don't feel like a phony. You don't feel like, man, you're being judged by others. Like, I could walk into a room at 50 years old and I could tell people are like, and by the way, I'm talking about people who don't know who I am. And quite honestly, I know that when I'm fit, I'm more mentally tough. I'm more emotionally tough. I could fight off depression, anxiety, overwhelm, stress more. I could fight off a cold or a flu. Like, fitness truly is the gateway drug to all categories of happiness.
You can't trust yourself if you lie. And there's going to be times in your life where you have no one to turn to except you. And so if you've stuffed yourself full of lies, then you're going to be in a crisis one day and you're going to have to make a decision and you're going to decide wrong. And you're going to be in real trouble because you won't have the clarity of mind necessary to make the proper judgment because you've filled your imagination and your perception with rubbish.
People's positions and feelings and taking a moment to inhale and digest what the hell they're saying and deciphering what's true and what isn't true before we take a position. It's important that we do that. But we haven't been doing that. And then we wonder why black people in this country are the one disenfranchised community that exists in this country. You know why? Because we don't demand that you flatter us. Let me explain my position even further. If you go to buy a house, do you buy it without looking at it, walking through it, probing and investigating before you decide to make that investment? Do you do something like that with a car as well? Don't you do it with clothes? Don't you do it with any purchase that you get? But when it comes to politics, no such thing. So in other words, the vast majority of black Americans in this country, particularly since 1964, have basically said, the right, you know what? You ain't worth a damn. We don't like you. We don't trust you. So guess what? We ain't giving you our vote. We can't come together for shit under most circumstances. But suddenly with politics, 85, 90%, etc. Oh, we gonna roll with the left. So what you've done is you've disenfranchised yourself. Why? Because the left know they have your vote and you're not going anywhere, and boom, you don't have to cater to African-American needs. And on the right, you're like, we ain't getting their vote anyway, So let's pay attention to the constituent that's going to put us in office. Either way you slice it, this one gives you little representation because they're taking you for granted. This one gives you little representation and no representation because they know they don't have your support anyway. And why are the other communities successful? Because I don't give a damn whether it's Cuban, it's Dominican, it's Venezuelan, it's Guatemalan, it's Puerto Rican, it's Mexican. I don't care what it is. You're Asian. You're the Jewish community. An abundance of white folks in the United States of America. Somehow, some way, everybody successfully goes about the business of making sure they tell you, show us you're worthy of our vote before we give it to you. And as a result, you have to cater to them. We don't do that. We don't do that. And that's where we made a mistake. And even though black conservatives may not do that to the degree that we like, in the end, what they're doing is they're bucking the system. They're saying we're not going to just buy what you're selling. The other side might have more of what we want. And some of them did that in this election with Trump. And now the Democrats have to go back to the drawing board and figure out how can you appeal to more African Americans and more folks in the Hispanic community and beyond to regain the luster that you thought you had, but you evidently lost. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, even when things look bad, there's light at the end of the rainbow. You know what that light is? Believe it or not, Donald Trump winning the election because it forced everybody to stand up and pay attention and recognize that you no longer get to engage in hate mongering and fear mongering to win an election. You actually got to go out there and win it. Black conservatives have something to do with that. So they ain't gonna get hatred from me. And they shouldn't from you or anybody in the African American community. Enough with the childishness. Let's grow up and use our mind and our brains.
Jay-Z. Hey, that was tough talk. That was some tough talk. You're gonna find out that I'm not like the rest of them. Why you didn't send me to court, criminal court? You're not gonna get a red cent from me? Okay. If you think this is about that lawsuit, okay. It's just the beginning, buddy.
But every day I wake up and I go, today's my fucking lucky day. Today's the day I'm gonna let these motherfuckers know that they can suck my dick. You understand? Because at the end of the day, that's all you want. For all of them to suck your dick. Everybody's wrong. Your fucking guidance counselor, the prison shrink, they were all fucking wrong. I'm still ticking, bitch.
You were wrong about me. What you get is not what you see. And you might have been pleasantly surprised if you took a chance on loving me. I might not be the perfect remedy for a broken heart, but I know how to love one that fell apart. I've been told that I have too much love to give for this single lifetime that we live, but the truth is, I know how to give that love away. I know how to weather the storm and yet still choose to stay, but I also know how to walk away. I'm not always gonna love you right, but I'm never gonna make you feel lonely in this constant battle that you fight. I'm undoubtedly gonna drive you up the wall, but I'm always gonna show up to catch you when you fall. And some days, I might even make you cry. But my I love yous will never be a lie. The truth is, I will never love you perfectly, but you will be loved intentionally.
I cut people out like fucking cancer. If you are a negative sack of shit, okay? You're fucking gone. You're out of here. I don't deal with it.
I hate negative people. If you're negative, you gotta get away from it.
Those I can't catch a break guys, get them the fuck away from me. They're cancer. Those people are dangerous to be around. They will rob you of your enthusiasm. They don't give you any fuel.
If I have an idea, the first thing you want to talk about is the problems with it. Then we got an issue.
Bro, you gotta fucking stop. You gotta stop with all this I can't catch a break bullshit. All the time you're complaining, you could be instead hustling. You could be instead chasing your dream. You could be instead figuring out what you're doing wrong, trying to improve certain aspects of your life, getting your shit together, reading a book, meditating, something. Fucking something. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't buy it. Because everybody has bad breaks.
Yeah.
I've had a shit ton of bad breaks. But you know what I did? I stayed up. Your attitude has a giant effect, not just on your life, but on other people's lives around you.
Nothing annoys me more than when someone expects you to be okay with something that they wouldn't be okay with if it was done to them.
Yeah.
So they go around and do whatever they want to you, but as soon as you do that one thing, you're the bad one. I don't have time for people like that in my life.
That's how you ruin good men. If you are a woman who is not healed through their trauma, say you were in a past relationship with a man who was extremely abusive, and in your survival mode, you would match his level of intensity, so you would start yelling, screaming, calling names, throwing things in his face because he was doing it to you, and now you're in a new relationship, and you're with a man who doesn't do anything like that. He's a super sweet dude. He has his flaws, he frustrates you and gets under your skin a little bit, but once you enter fight or flight and you're triggered and you start throwing things in his face and calling him names and yelling at him and berating him because you can't control your emotions or resolve the trauma and the damage from somebody else, you are ruining that good man. And you're going to take a little bit of piece of him every single time that happens. And before you know it, you're going to have all the pieces. He's going to be a shell of a man of who he was. He's not even going to recognize himself when he looks in the mirror. Every single day is going to be Groundhog Day for him. He's going to wake up, know there's going to be conflict that day, go to work, come home, and know he is not going to be appreciated. And because he's not going to feel appreciated, he's not going to appreciate you. And in turn, that's going to build more resentment in you. And you're going to continue to berate that man.
Make it your mission in life to shove it down these motherfuckers' throats so fucking hard that they fucking choke. Make it so that when they fucking look at you and they see you 5 years from now down the road and you walk into a fucking restaurant, they won't even look at you. They'll look the other way or they'll look at the ground because they are so fucking embarrassed of what they did or how they treated you or what the fuck they said to you or how they tried to fuck with you that they are embarrassed about what they did and where you went with it. Because eventually you'll become so successful, you won't have people doubting you anymore. You won't have people criticizing you like that. You won't have people that don't believe. Get better, keep going. Eventually people from the outside will care, and then you'll see how fake the people around you actually are. And when you see how fake they are because they come in and they start saying, oh, hey, Andy, I'm so proud of you. When you were making fun of me for 15 fucking years, you think I give a shit? Bro, yes, I'm respectful. Yes, I'm nice. Hey, thank you very much. But dude, when I walk away, I'm like, yeah, where the f were you when I was dying?
Oh, I see. So you want God to rescue you from your stupidity?
Yes, please.
No.
Okay.
Not happening. You don't pray for power. You don't pray for favors.
Yeah.
And you don't pray to be delivered from the necessary consequences of your own stupidity.
I see.
You pray that the pathway forward might reveal itself to you. That and in all humility.
Yeah.
That's the humility is I see but through a glass darkly.
Yeah.
Please help me clarify my vision.
Let there be light.
Yeah, that works. That works.
You know what? In my life, I've apologized without being at fault. I lowered my head when I was right. I did for others what they would never do for me. I hid how I was feeling so no one would worry. So don't call me selfish, because I've lost count of the times I put others' happiness above my own.
Not about money, it's about sending a message. Everything burns.